It says we're live. We're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am Ravenflower, and today I have a very special guest, my Aunt Pam, who has agreed to come on here. I've been trying to get her for some time, so feel very honored in the fact that Pam has blessed us with her presence, and she has a ghost story for us, so I'm very excited. Pammy, take it away.
Thanks, thanks, Ravenflower. Um, this ghost story kind of spans over some time because it's about my grandfather. And my grandfather, he shot himself in the head when I was about, I think, 6 or 7, and my older brother was about 8. And we found him, and he pushed me out of the room. And my memories of my grandfather were good. He used to sit me on his lap and read Catfish Hunter to me. And that's why we were going in that morning to get him.
Mm-hmm.
Brother pushed me across the kitchen. But as the years went on, um, I always kind of blamed my stepmother and my aunts for that because they were so mean to him. And I never understood why they were so mean because all of his grandchildren loved him. He was fun, you know. He used to let us drive his combine and mow down the wheat fields and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I started seeing him the way that he was, in overalls and a green and white checkered shirt, buzz cut hair. He always wearing glasses, the bristly whiskers on his face, and the dusty boots from working in the fields. And I would just talk myself out of it. I'm like, no, you don't see that. It's just all in your mind. You just miss him. You're making it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just kept talking myself out of seeing it. It was like I could see it, but when I'd look right at it, it would be gone, and I could feel it. I could feel him there, and but when I looked right at it, it would disappear. And I started reading books when I lived in California. And this one book was called Phantoms Afoot, and it was written by a Cheyenne woman called Mary Summer Rain.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband Bill would go to these places where different ghost sightings were, and they would confront these ghosts who didn't know they were dead, or they had
Mm-hmm.
business and they needed somebody to help them with that unfinished business. And I knew, it was dangerous the work they were doing, and they had to prepare, protect themselves before they went in and confronted these ghosts because some of them got angry. They didn't want to be dead and they didn't want to move on. So I wasn't too afraid of my grandfather, but I still thought that this was just my imagination until I got kicked out of the house once my mother was away in North Carolina and my stepfather kicked me out for returning something that was stolen to somebody. And I figured when my mom got back, she would take my side because I did the right thing. But no, I got kicked out of the house, and I was really upset, and I was crying. And I went to a friend's house, and she was curling my hair. She's like, "I'm going to fix your hair before you go to work, make you feel all better." And then she just stopped, and she's like, "Whoa!" And I said, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Have you ever seen somebody out of the corner of your eye, but when you looked right at them, they're gone?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, maybe a little, And I just kind of laughed. And I said, "Why? Did you see something?" And she described him exactly: the shirt, the overalls, the glasses, the buzz cut, the whisker face.
The
And
whole
then
thing.
I said, "What kind of shoes? What kind of shoes?" And she's like, "I don't know, some kind of dirty work boots." And I knew that I was actually seeing him, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. And when I was during my second marriage, my husband was very abusive, and he kind of isolated me from my family and my friends and moved me out into, sorry, there's a helicopter flying over. He moved me out to the middle of the desert in Las Vegas, and when I was going in the trailer that we were about to rent, I had to run out because I could feel that some woman was in there crying, and I couldn't go back in there. And I don't know if that was a premonition or what, but the guy
Hmm.
knocked his wife's teeth out. I mean, it was a
Oh
bad.
my gosh.
And she was crying under our trailer at 2 in the morning. And at this time, every time my husband would leave the trailer, I would see my grandfather sitting in a chair.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, there you are. I'm like, where were you a second ago? But he wouldn't be there when my husband was there. And so I started talking to him because of that book. And I said, you know, Grandpa, you don't belong here anymore. I mean, I like having you around, but you're dead and you need to go hang out with other dead people. You don't belong here anymore. For the light. And if you have unfinished business, I love you and you need to forgive yourself and move on. And I said, but you can stay as long as you want. Just know that you're not supposed to be here anymore. And he stayed for a couple more weeks and he left. And after he left, my ended up running for my life. My second husband almost killed me.
Oh wow.
Hey, I ended up having to dive into a stranger's pickup and I just left everything I owned behind. And that night was so weird because I prayed for something to get me away from him. And that night he took me out to the desert with a for a barbecue with his friends, some a group of guys that he worked with, and none of them spoke any English. But I spoke Spanish because I worked in restaurants, so I could speak to them a little. And
Hmm.
they had a pen and it had little pigs in it, and I was over there and I was visiting the pigs, and they were so cute. And that night the moon was so full, and they dragged this. I hear this squealing, and they dragged this mama pig out right at my feet and cut her throat, like right at my feet. And I just was frozen. It was like I put my hand on the pig's head and I thought to myself, I send your soul to heaven. And then I felt like this electrical shock go through my arm, and I was above my body looking down at everything then. And I saw my husband making jokes about screwing the pig in the ass. Excuse me, supposed to say that kind of stuff in the, you know, it was gross. He was holding a knife, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're married to that." And that night on the way home, I almost became the pig, and he almost threw me through a plate glass window and tried to run me over with his motorcycle. And I drove into the pickup, and I just got away from him. But it was all very symbolic, the whole thing. And I never saw my grandfather again. But I did find out that what I need I mean, I don't think I should tell his story, but there were some things that he needed forgiven for, definitely.
Hmm.
Um, I wasn't just sitting on his lap when we were reading the comics. He would want me to lift my little body and rub my face on his whiskers and go back down again. And it took a lot of hypnotherapy and stuff to realize that one childhood memory I thought was untouched wasn't. It was taken away, but it helps to know that, and it helps because now I know what other people were talking about, and I know why my aunts were so pissed off at him. Anyway, that's all I got.
Hmm. Wow, I mean, Blue Knight in the comments was like, this is such a loaded story. And I knew that you have this raw intensity, you just come with it. And I don't know if I get that from you, but we are just very transparent people. Um, and
Yeah,
so I thank you. I thank you for that. And I'm happy that we could have hold that space for you and you could share that. I think that's beautiful, not only for the story itself, but also for your bravery. And I love you.
I love you too. And always remember to love yourself more than don't ever leave that up to anybody else.
That's right. That's right.
Love yourself first. Yeah,
Love yourself first. You first. Always.
always.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for having
always.
me, Yvonne Ravenflower. I don't know what to call you anymore.
You can call me whatever you want.
I was calling,
They do. They usually call me Raven, Ravenflower, hey you, whatever. I don't care.
and I'm like, well, she's Ravenflower now, so now Ravenflower, Eve, Vaughn, and I don't know. I'm going through all the names. Thanks for having me anyway.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you
All right.
later. And that was Aunt Pam's story. Aunt Pam has like some real intense stuff. She is kind of my hero. She has been recently, you know, totally sober and taken back her life, was on death's doorstep, and has worked through so much stuff. So a lot of these awakenings are happening in her life, and I knew that she had something to share for us. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be on with Mr. Noah, I believe. I think it is true. I think I'll be on with Noah tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to talk about the ghost in the movie theater while we're watching Marvel. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying this. Have a good one. Bye.